The world knows Rio de Janeiro from postcards, Carnival, Christ the Redeemer, the beaches of Copacabana. But behind every postcard, there is a hill. And on that hill, there are rules that no newspaper ever fully explained. This is not a story of a villain. This is the story of a system. And you were born inside it. Level 1. The Lookout, Olhero. Age 11 years old. You live in a favela in the north zone of Rio. Your address doesn't exist on any official map. The government delivers nothing here. No reliable school, no sanitation, no protection. But the Red Command is here. Every single day. You don't know the history. You don't know that this organization was born in a prison in the 1970s, that political prisoners taught ordinary criminals how to organize, how to have discipline, how to build loyalty. You don't know that what started as a self-protection group inside Ilha Grande prison became the most powerful criminal network in Rio de Janeiro. You just know what you see on the corner. The older guys, the gold chains, the motorcycles, the respect. Your father works 12-hour shifts and still can't pay rent. Those guys never seem to struggle. You start hanging around. Nobody invited you. You just appear. At first, you run small errands. Buy water. Carry a message 2 streets over. Then one afternoon, someone hands you a cheap cell phone. Your job is simple. If you see a police vehicle turning onto the main road, you call this number immediately. You're not paid in money. You're paid in belonging. They ruffle your hair. They call you little brother. For the first time in your life, you feel seen. This is the test. They're not testing your courage yet. They're testing something more dangerous. Your loyalty. Level 2. The Runner, Vapor. Age 14 years old. You passed the test. You didn't talk. You didn't flinch. Now you handle product. Cocaine, marijuana, crack. You hold the supply at the Boca de Fumo, the drug sales point, and distribute to buyers. You work shifts of 10, sometimes 12 hours. Standing, in the sun, in the rain. The smell sticks to your clothes. You earn around 600 rays a week. That's more than your mother makes cleaning houses in the rich neighborhoods of the South Zone. The same neighborhoods that look down at your hill from behind tinted windows. You buy new sneakers. You buy your mother groceries without telling her where the money came from. She suspects. She doesn't ask. She's too tired to ask. The girls in your street look at you differently now. But the math is becoming clear to you, even if you don't want to see it. You know 3 guys who were doing this job last year. One is in juvenile detention. One disappeared after losing a shipment. One is buried in a corner of the cemetery with a wooden cross and no last name. You don't think about them for too long. Thinking too long gets you nowhere here. Level 3. The Soldier, Soldado. Age 17 years old. You've been detained once. You came back. The system processed you, spat you out, and the favela was the only place that received you with open arms. Now they hand you a rifle, an AR-15. It weighs about 3 kilos. In your hands, it feels like nothing. Your job is no longer selling. Your job is protecting territory. The Red Command controls more than half of Rio's favelas. But territory is never safe. The TCP, Tercero Comando Puro, wants what you have. So do the militias, the paramilitary groups made up of corrupt ex-police officers who extort communities under the banner of protection. You stand at the barrier at the entrance of the favela. You wait. When the rival faction tries to invade, you are the first line. You learn to fire. You learn to move through alleyways you've known since childhood but now see differently. As cover, as choke points, as escape routes. You watch a friend die 3 feet from you during a raid. His blood on the concrete dries faster than you expect. You stop sleeping well. You start sleeping with a pistol under your mattress. Your mother cries every time you leave the house. You tell her everything is fine. You have the Red Command tattoo on your forearm now. There is no fine. There is no exit. Level 4. The Manager, Gerente. Age, 22 years old. Most of the people you grew up with are dead or in prison. You survived because you were smart, not just ruthless. Intelligence matters here too. Maybe more. You are now a gerente, a manager. You oversee the runners, the soldiers, the lookouts. You run the accounts. Who sold what? Who owes what? How much moved this week? The Red Command generates billions, not millions, billions. A 2025 study found that criminal organizations like the CV generated the equivalent of 27 billion US dollars in a single year. You move inside the community in an armored car. You resolve disputes. You enforce discipline. Someone stole from a resident? You handle it. 2 families fighting over a plot of land? You are the judge. The state never built courts here, so the faction became the court. But the paranoia never leaves. Your face is on a wanted poster at the precinct. You cannot go to the beach. You cannot go to a shopping mall. You cannot cross into a neighborhood controlled by a rival faction. The favela that raised you is also your cage. You have power over everyone inside it, and you cannot leave. Level 5. The boss, Dono de Moro. Age 28 years old. You are the Dono, the owner of the hill. Your word is the law of this community. People bring you problems the way people in other neighborhoods call the police. Except you actually show up. You move millions through the favela economy. You invest in cattle ranches in the interior of Brazil. You own construction companies that are not in your name. You have a cousin who holds the accounts of a chain of small shops. All fronts. You sleep 3 hours a night, not because you don't want to sleep, because sleeping longer is how people like you get killed. Every night you move. Different house, different street, different corner. The civil police knows your name. The BOP, Rio's elite tactical unit, has a file on you an inch thick. You have survived 4 raids that were designed specifically to kill you. The international press writes about operations against the Red Command. They count the bodies and publish the photos. They do not write about the fact that the state abandoned these hills decades before the faction arrived. You are the king here. But a king with no kingdom outside these walls is just a prisoner with better furniture. Level 6. The prison, a cupola. Age, 33 years old. It finally happened. 2,500 officers, helicopters, drones dropping explosives. They called it Operation Containment. You called it Tuesday. You're sentenced to 28 years. The outside world thinks the game ended when the handcuffs clicked. The outside world does not understand how this works. Inside Bongas, Rio's maximum security complex, the Red Command doesn't disappear. It reorganizes. From inside your cell, you send coded letters, voice messages through lawyers, encrypted signals through visitors. You decide which favela gets which shipment. You decide which manager gets promoted. You decide which traitor gets punished. The walls do not silence you. They just give you an address. Investigations by Rio's public ministry confirmed what everyone inside already knew. Incarcerated leaders continue to run operations through coded messages, letters, and encrypted apps. There is no such thing as absolute isolation. The flow of information never truly stops. You are not imprisoned. You have simply changed offices. Level 7. The ghost age, 40 years old. Your face looks 55. Somewhere there are accounts with money you will never spend. Properties and names you no longer remember. Businesses run by people who stopped answering your calls. Your mother died while you were inside. You found out through a letter that arrived 2 weeks late. The woman who waited for you through the first sentence left during the second. She said she couldn't raise children under the shadow of a name on a wanted list. You sleep with one eye open even here, inside concrete and iron. Because the danger was never only outside. The biggest threat to a man at your level is the man 1 level below you. Watching, waiting, learning your patterns, counting your mistakes. You had everything this world promised you, and the world this favela offered was the only world you were ever shown. You press your face to the small barred window of your cell. Down in the street, 5 stories below, you see a boy, maybe 11 years old. He's watching a group of soldiers walk past with rifles over their shoulders. His eyes are bright. He thinks what you thought at his age, that this is power, that this is freedom, that this is the way out. You know it's the way in. And you know that no matter what happens to you, whether you die in here, whether you get out, whether you're forgotten, that boy is already inside the machine. The cycle does not break. It just finds new bodies to run through. The Red Command was born in a prison in 1979. It controls more than half of Rio de Janeiro. It operates in 20 Brazilian states. It has cells in Bolivia, Europe, and beyond. It was not built by monsters. It was built by a system that decided certain children were disposable. The news will show you the raid, the helicopters, the body count, the press conference. It will not show you the 11-year-old on the corner who has never once seen the state arrive with anything other than a gun. That's the story they never told you. They never,